Think about it. If a large part of the Earth breaks apart and falls into the ocean, and 100 feet high waves wash away the entire city, or a supervolcano blast lowers the temperature of the world so much that we go into a new ice age, or a poisonous monster rises under the ice, whose heat destroys every corner of the world. This is not a science fiction story, but natural threats that can end human life in one blow. Welcome to Recap English's videos once again. Viewers, today we will talk about the 4 sleeping natural disasters on Earth which have the ability to destroy the world. According to scientists, the arrival of these natural disasters is confirmed, but when? First of all, let's talk about Doomsday Glacier. Although its name is Thwaites Glacier, but why it is called Doomsday Glacier, you will find out in a little while. We all know that the sea level is increasing day by day and new problems are arising for humans. But how big the challenges to come and how much time we have left all depends on this Doomsday Glacier. The glacier in the west of Antarctica is more than 1 kilometer deep in many places. That is, it is deeper than the height of Burj Khalifa. In addition to being deep, it is spread over 120 kilometers, which makes it the world's widest glacier. 1.92 million square kilometers of this glacier is so big that it can fit 318 cities like Mumbai or Karachi. For the past few years, this glacier has been melting very fast compared to the entire Antarctica, which has increased by 4% at sea level so far. But the most dangerous thing is its location. Thwaites Glacier is a small part of the entire West Antarctic ice sheet, but the melting of it poses a threat to the melting of the entire ice sheet, which can cause the sea level to rise by 3 meters or 10 feet in the coming years. And this is because the Thwaites Glacier is located right in the middle of the West Antarctic ice sheet. Experts say that most of the ice in the West Antarctic ice sheet is on the Thwaites Glacier. If it is not stopped from melting, it will flood the entire West Antarctica, which will give rise to the ocean water kingdom on the coastlines, in which cities like Mumbai, New York, Jakarta, Bangkok, and Dhaka are at the top. If we look at this animation, it is the Antarctic ice sheet. It is quite deep from the center, since centuries of glaciation has made it thicker from the center. Warming. Because the level of the Earth in the east of Antarctica is above the ocean, the water does not reach the glaciers, and here the ice melts slowly. But West Antarctica is different. Most of it is below sea level. This means that water can go below it, weaken it, and melt it quickly. This is why West Antarctica is considered the most important part of the world in terms of climate change. To understand it correctly, look at the Earth's survey map below Antarctica. In its east, the Earth is higher than the sea level, which is shown in red and yellow, while in its west, where the Earth is shown in blue, it is lower than all the sea levels. Especially, this dark blue part is the lowest, and here is Doomsday Glacier. For now, this ice shelf is hanging on top of the water, while the ocean water has made it hollow under it. Every passing year, its pieces break and mix with the ocean, and the ocean water is making it more hollow from below. If we talk about 1992 to now, the ocean water has made it hollow up to 14 kilometers. If this continues for our planet, Antarctica's glacier will collapse and collapse in the Antarctic Ocean. Thwaites Glacier, which in the last 30 years has already risen by about 4%, so by the time it all melts, this whole ocean level will increase by about 0.5 meters. This time is not far away because researchers have already found a very large crack in the Doomsday Glacier, which is now out of anyone's control. The question is not whether the Thwaites Glacier will break or not, but the question is when. And as you already know, this thing can cause a lot of destruction. West Antarctican ice sheet. There is no doubt that this will trigger the melting process in the ice sheet, which will increase the ocean's level by 3 meters. In the event of this, the coastal cities will have to be emptied all of a sudden. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change survey, The cities that will be affected by this will be populated by more than 1 billion people. When all those people go to higher areas, they will see the economic imbalance of the entire world. In addition, rapid changes will be seen in the weather of the entire world, in which dangerous tsunamis, hurricanes, and floods will become very common. Now let's talk about Yellowstone supervolcano. Yellowstone supervolcano is located in Wyoming State, USA, in Yellowstone National Park. It is an active volcano system, which is one of the world's largest and most dangerous supervolcanoes. Yellowstone is not just a small mountain that can burst. It is a supervolcano which is filled with a lot of magma, i.e. molten stone. Yellowstone supervolcano is one of the world's largest and most dangerous supervolcanoes. If it explodes, its effects will not only be limited to America, but the whole world will have to face destruction. Yellowstone is in a large caldera, which is about 70 kilometers long and 50 kilometers wide. This means that it is like a giant crater that was formed after ancient volcanic eruptions. Experts believe that these supervolcanoes explode once every 6 to 7 million years. The last time it erupted was about 640,000 years ago, and before that, 13 million years ago, and before that, 21,000,000 years ago, there was a big explosion. Looking at its past record, it would not be wrong to say that the Yellowstone supervolcano can erupt at any time in the next 60,000 years. If the Yellowstone supervolcano erupts, its impact will not be limited to just one country. In fact, it can easily engulf the entire world. It will destroy any city within a radius of 1,000 kilometers in a single blast. Because of the explosion, it will release gases such as volcanic ash and sulfur dioxide into the air. Phenomenon: volcanic winter. The crops will stop growing and there will be a shortage of food all over the world. Even if people survive, diseases will spread among them. Due to the presence of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere, rain will not be in the form of water, but in the form of acid. According to reports, if Yellowstone collapses today, at least 70% of the world's population could die. Now, it's the turn of the Cumbre Vieja volcanoes. There are Canary Islands in Spain, 700 miles from the northwest coast of Africa. Here, this island called La Palma was formed 40 million years ago due to the Cumbre Vieja volcanoes. These volcanoes are still active and can pose a huge threat to the world. In the last 60 years, volcanic eruptions have created a fault line, a crack in this island which can also be seen in Google Earth. This crack is 6,000 feet above the sea level. Scientists say that if there is a major eruption, the damage caused by the lava will be on one side, but a large part of the island can fall into the sea. Geologists believe that if the fault line is completely cracked, approximately 500 billion tons of heavy stones will slide at a speed of 250 kilometers per hour and fall into the ocean. Due to this landslide, about 1 kilometer of seawater will jump and fall, which will start a series of tsunamis that will leave its mark all over the world. Experts have named it the mega tsunami. These waves will travel up to 4,000 miles in every direction of the sea, in which Europe, America, and Africa will be badly affected. Bigger than 100 feet, waves will carry the entire system deep into the seas and coastal cities of the world. The volcano of La Palma is a time bomb that could burst at any moment, and it's not only affecting the Canary Islands, it could affect the whole world. But because this slide is pointing west, it's understood that the US East Coast, where Miami and Orlando are located, will be affected the most. And if the city does not become empty on time, the mega tsunami. And now finally, let's talk about permafrost. 11% of our world is permafrost ground. That is, the part of the Earth whose temperature is less than 0 degrees Celsius for 12 months of the year. Permafrost is mostly found in polar regions, including half of Canada, 2/3 of Russia, and the Tibetan Plateau. In these, permafrost has been in the same condition for millions of years, but not anymore. There is an active layer on top of the permafrost layer, which freezes in the winter but melts back in the summer. Under this layer, the permafrost layer remains less than 0 degrees Celsius throughout the year. Because of this, permafrost works like a deep freezer. For millions of years, trees, plants, animals, and microorganisms have been frozen and preserved in this permafrost, whose decomposition process does not begin. But due to global warming, every year the active layer of permafrost is getting deeper and deeper, and thousands of years old animals are rising from here in the same condition as they were at the time of their death. When permafrost melts, the organic matter in it starts to melt. They start eating bacteria and release methane gas. Experts believe that today, all the pollution in the world is trapped in 4 times more carbon than in permafrost, and it is spreading slowly in the atmosphere. When so much greenhouse gases come into the environment, the average temperature of the world will increase by 8 degrees Celsius, because of which the glaciers will melt. Glaciers melting will disrupt the supply of fresh water in the world. The sea level will rise to 5 meters, and such a seasonal change will be seen that it will be impossible for humans to settle near the equator. Most people think that the melting of permafrost is the destruction in the future, but in reality, this destruction has already begun. Every year, in different parts of the world, the active layer of permafrost is getting thicker and thicker. In Siberia, the living proof of this is the Batagayka crater, which was formed due to the melting of permafrost and the penetration of it into the ground. And now, every year, it is getting bigger. If the process of permafrost melting continues in the same way, which no one can stop, so in the next 50 to 70 years, 70% of the world's permafrost will melt. Even if fossil fuels are eliminated today, it is impossible to prevent permafrost from melting. I hope you will like and share this video of Recap English. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.